So this week we're looking at doing things the hard way. That's the title of this week's lesson, and it certainly is. We're looking at the end of chapter 7 of Isaiah and then into chapter 8, when God is speaking not so much to Judah, that's where it begins, but then talking about what's going to happen to the Arameans, and most particularly what's going to happen to the people of Israel, the northern kingdom. He'd already said there in chapter 7, 65 years and they're gone. And then in chapter 8, the Lord tells Isaiah, you're going to have this son, give him this name. And then verse 4, for even before the boy knows how to say daddy or mummy, the king of Assyria will carry off Damascus's wealth and Samaria's possessions. This is the beginning of the end for the northern kingdom, because these people have rejected the waters of Shiloh. That's a symbol. Rejecting God, really, is what it's saying. God is going to bring the powerful flood waters of the Euphrates River. That's talking about, of course, the king of Assyria. And verse 9, pay attention, you nations, and be smashed. Listen, all you distant lands. Get ready, but you will be smashed. Get ready, but you will be smashed. You can plan your strategy, but it will be foiled. You can say what you're intending, but it won't happen. Here we see God in contrast to the ways in which people are thinking. The Israelites, the northern kingdom, were relying on the help of the Arameans, and they were going to attack Judah, and they have all their alliances, and God says, well, I can bring people from Egypt, I can bring people from Assyria. It doesn't really matter who it is. These are my tools, because I can see I'm going to have to deal with you in, as the lesson says, the hard way, because you're not responding. And here we see the aching love of a father for his children, saying, I wish you would respond to me. As he says in Hosea, how can I give you up? How can I let you go? But I have to, because you don't want to know. You turn your back on me. You want to go your own way. You don't care. And here we see something that is really tragic. These people experience the consequences of their action. They do lose not just their experience with God, which is pretty well gone already, but they lose their possessions, they lose their houses, they lose their lands, and they eventually lose their lives. Some are killed during the invasion, some are taken away into Assyria and are dispersed, and those 10 northern tribes, apart from those who do come south and join with Judah and Benjamin, apart from those, the 10 tribes are gone. They're assimilated into these other nations where they've been sent, and there's been a lot of speculation. What happened? Where are they? Did these 10 tribes go here or there? And there's all kinds of ideas about that. But the answer is no, they're gone. And for God, that must be a terrible tragedy to see his people leave him and not respond, because they were so, well, the scriptural word is right, isn't it? Stiff-necked, obstinate, refusing his help, refusing to come to him so that they could be healed. Now, that's the historical material. That's the perspective there. The loss of everybody in the northern kingdom of Israel. What about us? How do we respond to those kinds of experiences? Are we pig-headed, stiff-necked, obstinate, don't want to know, want to live life on our terms, not willing to come to God, not willing to have a relationship with him, not willing to be healed from all the damage of sin, but persisting in our own ways? Isn't that what we all too often do? And God has to deal with us in the same hard way, because We are obstinate. He pleads, he cajoles. Sometimes he has to do things that he hates to do because we don't respond. And he wants to shock us into some kind of response. But if that doesn't work, in the end, because of his gift of freedom, he has to watch us leave and go away. I pray that won't happen to any of us as we think of what God can do as our loving Saviour.